Well, good morning, welcome back to Big Girl Hunters. I've just arrived in the Lin Brook car park. I'm here for 48 hours with my best mate Toby. We're going to try and see if we can have out one of the original commons, see if we can catch as many fish as we can using zigs and early spring tactics, and let's go see if we can find some fish. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning, so it's just first light, so hopefully there'll be plenty of movement and fish signs, and we can see where we can fish for the day. Awesome. Now let's talk about zigs. In my opinion, one of the most underrated, underused methods within carp fishing. Everybody's fishing on the bottom end, and I think 90% of the time the fish are, up in the layers, whether that be, a few feet off the bottom, or in the middle, or right on the surface. The fish are hardly ever sitting on the bottom line there. And when they feed, they'll come down to eat, but as soon as they do that, they'll come back up. So a zig basically is a way how to present a bait suspended from the bottom in sort of mid layers of water. And I'm going to talk everything about zigs, the baits, how I store them, how I tie them. I use 2 different types of zigs depending on the lake I'm fishing, because some lakes don't allow you to use artificial baits, like things like foam. So let's start off with how I sort of store them and that sort of thing. So this is how I store my zigs. It's the beautiful zig box. I've had this piece of kit for a few years now. It's made by Avid, and you can store up to 8 tied zigs at a time. And the way I do it is actually, if you can see here, I've got actually the depth of the zig written on each one. So I've got 3 footers, 8 footers, 6 footers, 7.5s. I've got here, this one is a 5 footer, and this one's a tied, and this one's a 6 footer, and these are 2 different zigs that I use really. One is predominantly using the Fox zig liners, and this one is tied up basically so you can use a baits to hair rig on. And I'm going to show you how to tie this up. Everybody knows how to use the zig liners, but this is a little bit different, and I use this mainly on waters where foam or artificial baits are banned. So this one is actually a tiny little 10mm pop up, and we'll go through them in a sec. Right, so this is the zig I was talking about. This is my own version of the zig. I've sort of tweaked things over the years, and I feel like this is the perfect way to present a zig. If I can't use zig liners, this is what I'll be using, and often or not I'll just use this anyway, so I can chop and change and the baits easily, whether it's foam, bits of cork, and we'll go through different hook bait options in a sec. But this is predominantly the rig. I've got here, this is 3.5 foot of zig line. This is the quarter zig line. I really like this stuff. I think it's the 12-pound one. It's nice and thin, but really strong, and I've had fish into 20 pounds on this particular line. And the hook there is a size 8, like wide gape barbless style hook. This lake is barbless, so I've got a barbless hook on. I have a little bit of silicone that traps the hair, and then another little bit of silicone here. So it's a thicker diameter, and that's just to trap the line and the eye, and then the line comes at a much better angle. Otherwise, with the wide gape, it's kicking too forward, but this is to widen the gape and nail them every time. And there's a bit of thought into it, and we'll tie one up in a sec. Using the measurement tool on the zig box, get out the required amount of line. I'm going to be doing a 3 footer, so 1, 2, 3, and then I give myself a little bit extra just to tie the rig. First stage is to tie a very simple overhand loop to make your hair. This can be a little bit fiddly with the zig line, but you want to make it nice and small, just so it sits in the bait. Your little puller tool, put it nice and tight, trim off the tag end. Now thread on your hook bait. I'm using a tiny little barrel pop-up, little black one. Black is my favourite zig colour, so you pop that on there. This is just to get the right size, so you've got the hook bait in position, like so. Now thread on a small piece of silicone tubing. This is to trap the hair into position tight, so your boilie is sitting real tight next to the hook. And now putting on your size 8 barbless wide gape style hook. Now this, a lot of people get this bit wrong, but you have to put it on backwards. I now thread the hook on. Like so. Pull it down into position. Now you can see now why this silicone is critical. It's because you want it to sit like that. Now to tie your knotless knot. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then back through. Make sure that is down tight, like so. So this next step, this is an important part. This is 0.075 millimeter silicone tubing, and I put this around the eye. This bit is the trickiest part of the rig, just for it to kick out properly and get a good sort of angle with the line. You'll see now, without it, it's just kicking out this angle, but what you'll see, once we've got this on, thread it onto the eye, like so. Keep making sure that line's tight. Final stage, the rig, sliding on your anti-tangle sleeve and then tying your loop knot. I like to use a figure of 8 loop knot when tying a zig. It's just that little bit stronger. Again, can be quite fiddly. You get it through like so. You see the figure of 8. Wet it. Get your puller tool. Pull it down. Get rid of the tag end. Pull up your anti-tangle sleeve. There is your zig. So this is all my zig foam. I've got various baits in here, different colours, blacks, yellows, pinks, reds, even a cheeky bit of orange in there. My secret little bait is cork. You know, when things are struggling, you're struggling to get a bite, try a bit of cork. I don't know what it is, whether it's just the different holes, the textures, the colour, but I've done lots of fish in tough situations on cork zigs over the years, and this stuff is glugging in the strawberry nutcracker pure flavour, so absolutely smells lovely. Final tip, it's all about using these bad boys, the old dissolvable foam. I feel like this is critical when using zigs, just to make sure that it helps kick away, it makes sure the zig pops right up to the top, even in some slight bottom weed you can get away with this. So the zig comes right to the top, and then you'll see it pop up, and your zig is presented there, left nice and safe, away from any debris on the bottom. So all you have to do, pop it on there, give it a nice little lick, fold it over, just press tight just on the corner, because you don't want to squeeze all the air out of it, so it floats like that. Make sure the zig is fully in, just like so. And the last little trick is, there's loads of different flavours now, but this stuff, it needs no introduction, the old goo. This is the orange one. I've been using this all spring. I've had some good results on it, and it's a really strong, sticky substance, but it's a really, really, really sweet, citrusy smell. But why I sort of decided to use this on my zigs is just because of the consistency, and it's really nice and thick, and it sticks to the zig perfectly. Causes a little cloud of flavour, which the fish will find irresistible. Get it out there. Well, welcome back. Unfortunately, there's nothing too much to report on except for despair and sorrow. We lost a good fish this morning. Cast it out, found the fish in this bottom corner, cast it out little PVA bag, 2 grains of plastic, and it just melted off about 10 minutes after. Back on the surface, and the hook pull, the lead had dislodged, but unfortunately it was a hook pull. That's what you get sometimes with these barbless hook sets on the rule here at Lin Brook. I've spent the day sort of chasing them around, fishing zigs, fishing out on the surface, casting at showers. I've been doing hard days angling, and unfortunately they're just not having it. They're kind of been cruising around in the sun. They're looking like they might. It's not. They're not looking spawny, but they're starting to. There's a few smaller ones starting to group, and it wouldn't surprise me within sort of 3-4 days, if the weather stays hot, that they might have a go. Maybe on the weekend or something like that. But I've got the rods back out, fishing 1 zig and then 1 on the bottom, because I've only got 2 rods fishing at the moment, and Toby's got a couple on the deck, 1 in the margin and 1 out in open water, so we've got quite a lot of bases covered. Hopefully we'll have one. It seems to be bite time, seems to be early morning, so hopefully we can get one through the night. It's gotten quite busy here now as well. That's what you get at Day Ticket Lakes, but hopefully we'll have one for you in the morning. Well, good evening. Unfortunately, again, it's been a tale of woe. I've lost another 2 fish since I last spoke to you. One after a quick rechuck, both of them hook pulls. It's been an absolute nightmare. I really feel, so that's 3 fish I've lost altogether. I really feel beaten up. There's a barbless rule here, and I was using size 8 barbless wide gape. Sharpen them up extra, so they're mega sharp. They're coming in after the hook pull's really sharp, and so I've had to think about how I could change it and adjust. So I've stepped up now to a size 6, and I've moved over to a Fluorocarbon Rig with a curved shank style hook. I'll show you that a bit later. So I've got that out on both rods now, and I'll just talk you through what we've done and how I've got the rods out. So like I say, after a really frustrating day, I haven't done much filming today just because it's been kind of frustration after frustration after frustration. Losing 2 fish within a few hours, I just felt like the carp gods were against me, as they often are. But there's a lot of fish been cruising around, and they just, I've been fishing zigs and they're just not having it. They're not having a zig. I've tried a foot under the surface, I've tried over depth zigs, I've tried 1 footers, 3 footers, everything in between, and they're just not having it every colour. They're just swimming around. So what I've done, and also I've been hooking them off the reed bed, and they're just manic bites where they just got, it's hook and hold stuff, and I think that's what's affecting the hook pulls. Like I say, size 8 wide gape, try and be a bit sneaky. It's just not happening. Normally that hook is an amazing hooker and holder, but they're just coming off. So like I say, I've stepped up. I've got this little bad boy out because I didn't really know where to fish. I was like, oh no, fish on the bottom, but I fish in zigs. But I was gonna whack out a deeper to check a different area just to see exactly where the depth is, 1 cast. And I popped it out there, into an open water spot, and I was looking on the deeper. I had the sensitivity really low, and just a massive shoal of fish, probably 20 fish on this bad boy, the old Deeper Pro. And there was no signs, because they were kind of sort of just off the bottom. They weren't on the bottom, but just off the bottom. So what I did is I reeled in, took off the zigs, and got them out on the bottom and put a bit of bait out. So that's out there, and hopefully we'll get a bite. Like I say, I'm feeling pretty beaten up. Toby is too. He's yet to have his first Lin Brook carp. Hopefully he won't be long. And the pressure's dropping slightly. It's been not quite as savagely hot as it was the day before. So hopefully tonight, fingers crossed. I've done a few rig tweaks, and hopefully we'll nail the next one. Or get one in for you. tight line. So Toby's just had this, £19.15, just 1 ounce off the £20 mark. It's now getting to, well, it's about 4 o'clock in the morning, and it just melted off. It's been a tough old session, and hopefully, you know, mine will rip off. And what have you got to say for yourself, mate?
Yeah, really chuffed. First one on the lake, 4th night. Just got on a nice little double grainer, little bag of pallet. Just rolled off, really, yeah, lovely.
Right guys, I cannot believe it. Turned a nightmare session into a dream session. I've only gone and had my target fish from the venue. One of the original commons, Dixie. It's the character fish that everyone wants to catch. It's 30, what is it, £30.10?
Yep.
£30.10, and I'm absolutely buzzing. Had it about 5 in the morning, just on first light. I cannot wait, it's so heavy, it's hurting me. I'll just show our other side, mint condition. Oh. Here's our other side, it's hurting my back now. £30, beautiful old Hampshire common carp. Oh, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Cannot believe it. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer to catch this fish, so my time here at Lin Brook will be coming to an end. So yeah, just one sort of quick spring, and I've got her. I'm just making sure. She gave up one hell of a battle on it. Good 20-minute scrap. Couldn't get her up eventually, so just making sure she's goes back fighting fit, ready to spawn and go on her spring adventures. Can't believe I caught her so quickly. It's a prime example of a common. Make sure she's the width of her. She's kicking now. Make sure she's fully kicking. Bye bye, my love. Awesome. That is my 31st UK 30, and I think my 6th or 7th UK 30 caught for this channel, so hope you enjoyed. Awesome. Well, good morning. Obviously you can see I'm full of joy after capturing Dixie's fish. That was my target fish on this kind of campaign on this lake now, so I've got to think about somewhere else to fish alongside my my syndicate down the road. And I chose this place because it's a day ticket water. I particularly like that fish. It's an old ringwood fish, and it was basically an old big fish that I could target whilst fishing with my best mates on socials and that, but I didn't expect to catch it so quick, to be honest. Absolutely mint condition, beautiful fish, fought like an absolute demon. It was on for at least 20 minutes, seemed like, you know, forever, but leading up, you know, there was definitely some groundwork leading up to the capture. You know, I was fishing zigs and having a right nightmare with hook pulls and fishing small grains of plastic, and it just wasn't happening for me. So like I said previously, I got my deeper out and sort of found a few fish on the bottom, and they looked like from, you know, the deeper was picking them up on a real low sensitivity, which normally means that, you know, they are a bigger fish. So I decided to introduce some bait, and this is the bait I have been using. This is the new nutcracker. It's the strawberry nutcracker. Lovely smelling bait. Smells very similar to the nutcracker, but it's got more of a strawberry. I feel it smells like a strawberry flapjack or a strawberry cake. It's really, you can see that. It's got these little red speckles, and it's really nice and soft. Again, the fish can digest it nice and easy. And what I do with this stuff, that's why it's in this bag and not the urban bag, is that as soon as I get it home, I open it up and I give it a good douse of the nutcracker strawberry glug, and then I refreeze it and it sucks it in. But what that does
is when they're out there and the fish start eating, you get these little circle slicks come up on the surface. You know, so I put some bait out after finding that fish. I probably 50 baits spread over an area, probably about sort of, I don't know, 30 yards, not very far outside. It's not very far out, you know, amongst these fish in our swim. And a few hours later, you know, one slick came up, then another, and we've got all this horrible surface, scummy sort of. It's like cotton. It's gathering on the line. It's been an absolute nightmare. And to be honest, it's been really affecting the casting. My fluorocarbon's really dirty, but these slicks were kind of coming up in these dots, and then I kind of was like, what's that? And then I figured out what was going on. At the time, I had a zig out, so I reeled in and basically put a boilie rig on. You know, this is the rig I decided to go for, and one of my favourites. You know, like I say, I stepped up my hook, size 6, and this is a size 6, like curve style hook. And there's a little Nutcracker snowman. That's a Nutcracker barrel glugged strawberry pop up, just a little tipped, and that just gently wafts down. And with the stiffness, it's just a really good hooking rig. So I decided to go in with the boilie approach, see if I can, you know, get a better take, pick up a bigger fish really, and it worked. And I've had my target fish. I didn't expect it to happen so quickly, but that was it really. It was a kind of a, you know, golden opportunity that I couldn't miss. You have to act on these things, even if you're not 100% that's what's going on. I mean, I was sure that was going on. Just go with your gut feeling and do it, because you know nothing was really working before. So you ring the changes and make it happen, I say. And also Toby had his fish over the baited area as well. So it's all looking really good. So some good tips to pass on to anyone. Yeah, so far the strawberry nutcracker. It's doing me pretty good. I would say I prefer the original nutcracker because I've just got such a, you know, I've caught so many fish on it really from all around the country. You know, I just love that real nice sort of maple scopexy smell. But this stuff is really nice. It's got a real old school strawberry sort of boily smell. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I need to get off soon to work, so tight lines.